Hello, this is the Wise Owl 2 coming at you from the city where I live. All around us, there's chemical symbols that teach us about chemistry and everything. And that's good to know these things, because chemical symbols is something that you'll find when you take up chemistry or a course in chemistry. You'll see that the chemistry book or the textbook will be filled with nothing more than with a lot of chemical symbols on the periodic table of elements. But what about for beginners? This is like a video on chemistry for beginners or for people who just want to learn chemistry for the first time. But what about atoms and molecules? What about molecules? How can I explain to you what a molecule is? You hear about a molecule, people talk about molecules. A molecule of this, a molecule of that. But what is a molecule? And how can we explain how molecules become molecules? Well, let me explain to you how molecules behave, how they get together, and that will explain more to you if I've explained to you what a molecule is. Okay, you don't have to become a chemist. You can be somebody interested in chemistry and want to expand your horizon of intelligence, right? The awareness of what things around you. Okay, let's say you have a red color here with a capital R, a red ball, and this red ball is an atom. Just for the time being, this red color sphere. Not really a ball, a spear, or spot, is a capital R for red, and that's an atom. Okay? Then you take another red capital R spear or spot, red spot, another atom. Now, when you have an atom of one element, let's say red, like the capital R, is in its purest form of the element. This is just an example. You don't have to remember this too much. Just keep it in mind. And let's say you have another pure element, another red, capital R red atom. Okay, and let's say these two atoms get together to form two pure elements of atoms. Each R is a red color atom, which is pure. Then you can write this gathering together as capital as red and two atoms right here. See here, there's two atoms getting together, red getting together, two atoms of red getting together. So you put the two right here, two atoms of red getting together. Okay, and that's a molecule, but I'm a pure molecule because it took two atoms of pure element. Of the same element, R, which is red, to come together. So it's pure of the same kind. So you got a molecule of R, two pure atoms. So you got a molecule of pure atoms, two pure atoms come together. So how do you write that together? Well, you probably capital R and a small 2. That's a molecule. See how I put it down? Now, let us take, for example, the same thing I just showed you, same thing. And let's say instead of having red for R, we have an H. And the spot right here is it's an electron. You got two H's, and both of these are pure atoms. And this is a hydrogen. H is a hydrogen. Okay? It's a hydrogen atom. Here's another hydrogen atom. That's why I have a capital H in each atom. And each atom, it's a pure element because it's pure. So you got two pure hydrogen atoms. Now they come together. Remember here how the two reds came together here? Well, the two H's come together here. Now you see electrons? The electrons they line up. You get this one, this little spot here, and this little spot, this little dot, these two little dots, they line up, and they form a bond. This is called a bond. Now the bond is what causes the electrons. Is what causes the bond. They attract the H's together, the atoms, the pure atoms, and you got you got two H's together. See how they come together? Like the two R's, the two H's, the two red here. You get two H's, the two R's come together here. But then now when you have two H's and they come together because of the electrons, which are the two little dots here, you get a capital H and a small 2. Just like up here, you got a capital R for red and two atoms together. So when they come together, now you have a molecule of the same atoms. Two atoms come together, pure atoms. So you got two hydrogen, pure element, come together into a hydrogen molecule. So you got two put together, and you got the H, capital H, for hydrogen, for the chemical symbol for hydrogen, and you put a 2 here at the bottom here, at the H, for the molecule. Like you have R2 here. When the R2R came together, R plus R get together, you got R and 2, you got H and 2. So you got a pure molecule. And both atoms are the same kind of atoms, hydrogen. No change at all. So it's pure. It's a pure molecule that came together. Now, a molecule of water, okay, has 3 atoms, okay? 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom, okay? Now, when you have 2 or more atoms of a different kind, like hydrogen and oxygen, come together, you have what is called a compound. And a compound can make a molecule. Let's say, for example, water, okay? If you have water, see here, water, W-A-T-E-R, has 3 atoms, okay? You got 2 hydrogen, which are pure atoms, come together into a hydrogen molecule, and you got an oxygen atom. They bound together by the electrons, okay? Just little black dots that I showed you above. Here's what we have when we have that together. So we got 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 of atom of oxygen to form a molecule of water. See here, a molecule of water. Now, like I say, although we have a molecule of water, it is not we don't have a pure molecule, because you have 2 different atoms come together. 2 different atoms. Well, really 3, but 2 of them is hydrogen. You understand what I'm saying to you? Even though you have 3 atoms, 2 of them are hydrogen, which is the same. But then you got oxygen, which is not the same element. So you have a compound atom of oxygen. Now, if you have oxygen by itself, no hydrogen, just oxygen by itself, which is an O, the chemical symbol for oxygen is O, and that's all you have. Then you have a pure atom of oxygen. But now you're adding to the pure oxygen 2 pure atoms of oxygen. So now you have two different kind of atoms. You got the hydrogen atoms, and then you have 1 atom of oxygen. So what you have is a compound. It's called a compound. C-O-M-P-O-U-N-D. A compound. And when they come together in a bond, the hydrogen and the oxygen, you do get a molecule. You get a water molecule. So here we have a molecule of water, okay? The atoms are bonded together to form water. And you have H2. Remember up here, we got a R2 when 2 red spots got together, capital R, and you got 2 hydrogen right here. And when 2 hydrogen got together, because you have 2 electrons right here, 2 little dots here of electron, and yellow shell, they got together to make H2. Well, here again, we got the H2. See the H2 right here? That's what we have. And then you add it, another atom, which is O, which is a chemical symbol for oxygen. So you got H2O. which is now a compound, because you have hydrogen atoms and oxygen atoms. You have a compound. But the compound now forms what is called a water molecule. So you got a water molecule out of this. Okay? Let me see if I can simplify it a little bit more, because this is for beginners or anybody interested in chemistry. Here it is right here. Let's take the red spot instead of the red spot or the red smear or become R. Let's pretend that the red smears or dots or hydrogen atoms. And you see how each hydrogen atom has a little dot in the outer shell to form electrons, which are negative charged particles. Okay, so they get together, these particles, and they are attracted, and they're attracted by the O. Right here, the O is the oxygen. So you got two. You have an H, which is an atom of a pure element. You have another atom of hydrogen, which is a pure atom. And now you have an O right here. See the O right here? This is the O. This is the chemical symbol for oxygen. See oxygen? See the arrow pointing to the O. Okay, oxygen. Okay, I can put it here. I'm gonna put an O here. O, right here, for oxygen. Okay, so they get together. Okay, so we have hydrogen atom plus hydrogen atom, which equals H2, which is a molecule, a pure molecule, because you have two pure atoms. Then so these two actual hydrogen get together, and with the oxygen, which is through a chemical bonding, a covalent bonding, because you have a little dot here, which is electric for the hydrogen atoms. Each one has one electrons, which is negative charge. Each little spot. Okay, so you get a bond. They bond together with the oxygen atom, and then when they get together, now not only do you have an H2, but now you have an H2 here and an O. That's simple. It's simple. It's simple to write what happened just now. You add the oxygen, which is O. Okay, and you got H2O. Simple, isn't it? Very simple. And it's a water molecule. Okay. Now a drop of water has many molecules of H2O. Imagine a drop of water, and imagine a waterfall, or imagine if you spill lots of water on the floor. Huh? So imagine how many molecules of water you have there. So it's very simple, isn't it? You take two hydrogen atoms to form a H2O. I mean H2, and here's the H2. Then you take the O, oxygen, and you add it right here to the end, and you got H2O. You see it? That's simple. Now I'm going to show you why this happens. We know that oxygen, if you look at the periodic table of elements, it has to have 8 electrons in its shell, not in the nucleus, in the outside of the shell. The nucleus has the neutrons and the protons. And the protons are positive charge, but the electrons, these little dots here around the outside the nucleus, is electrical charge particles called electrons. Okay, now you recall that oxygen has to have 8 electrons, right? So let me see, let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 6 electrons. So the water, water molecule needs 2 more. Oxygen needs 2 more oxygen, okay, to make 8. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how can we get 2 more atoms to fill the shell of the electron to fill the shell, the outer shell of the oxygen atom. How can we get 2 more electrons? How can we do it? Well, the electrons out here, one from the hydrogen and one from the hydrogen here, one from here and one from here, they get together and they are attracted by a covalent bond to the oxygen. So now each hydrogen is going to share one electron to the outer shell of the oxygen. So now let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now the oxygen is completed and is in the electron. It's completed around the orbit of the on the shell. You have 8 oxygen. But how can you have 8 oxygen if you only have 6 around the shell? Each hydrogen was got together with the oxygen and gave one of their and bonded with it. It's like a I shouldn't say this, but it's like a marriage. I shouldn't, but you know what? It's like a 3-person marriage. But since oxygens, you know how it is, right? You get one here and one here. They get together, and now you have 8 oxygen electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now the oxygen is completed. But now it carries with it 2 hydrogen atoms, which is H2. So what are you gonna do with H2? You got the oxygen completed with the electron, but what are you gonna do with these 2? They're stuck with the bond together. What are you gonna do with it? Well, they become a new molecule, a new compound, because you have an oxygen and you have 2 pure hydrogen atoms. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to write it down. What we see. So we see oxygen and we see H2, and that's what happens. Okay. So we got H2O. Now, as you can see right here, each black dot is an electron, which is negative charge. That's why you have the little a little line there, like a hyphen. There's a little line. It means it's negative, and the E is electrons. Okay, they get together. Okay, it gets together like this. They pull inside together and join. Okay. Here's a better way to explain to you another way. I can explain this in a different way. We got hydrogen here, and we have hydrogen there. See hydrogen atoms, H hydrogen atoms, and we got each hydrogen atom has its own little electrons, and we got oxygen, which has its electrons. Now hydrogen is supposed to have 8, but here it has 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and these 2 more electrons. So the hydrogen gets together and is bonded, and it bonds itself with the oxygen with its electron, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and oxygen is completed, and by now we have a compound, 2 different atoms. So this compound that we have now we have a compound, is also a molecule, and now it becomes the molecule becomes H2O. See, the 2 red H and H is H2, and the oxygen is O. H2O. Now, do you understand? You have a covalent bonding. So what happens is that it just pulls together. It pulls together. It bonds. It bonds. Okay? That's all. Okay? And that's how the molecule works, and that's how you form molecules. A molecule. Now you can have a CO2. You can have a C, and you can have O, 2 O atoms, and a C atom. But the electrons has to come in play in order to be attracted to the to the oxygen, to the atom, to the to the carbon. You have to get 2 atoms and 2 carbons. One carbon atom, and 2 hydrogen atoms has to come together. So 2 oxygen atoms and a carbon atom has to come together, and you get CO2. Okay, so you get carbon dioxide. All right, that's how it happens. Same way you get this H2O, you get molecules of other things too. All right, that should do it for now. I hope you liked this lesson. I'm sorry if I was stuck just now, but it's hard to explain things. As you can see, I don't use computer. I use my writing. I wrote this down. I drew it right away and to explain it. It's handwritten. And of course, I used a crayon that I found. One of my grandnieces used it and left it around the floor. And I picked it up and I used it to make the sketch. Here, this little dot here is the electrons, negative charge. All right. Now, if you want to know about the protons, the protons, which are positive charge, and neutrons, which are no charge at all, which are in the nucleus of the atom, right down here in the middle of every atom. Here, this is a different sketch. Go to my Wise Out 2. I made a video on explaining the protons and the atomic number and how to read a table of elements. You go to that video and you'll see right away. Okay, go to chemistry and chemistry or chemistry for beginners, and then you see chemical symbols, or you see atomic numbers. Just go to my Wise Out 2 and just X for chemistry for beginners, atomic numbers, and I'll explain to you how that's what that is and how that behaves and everything, and how the periodic table of elements has it written down or put down the atomic number. But this is just how the electrons work. These little spots with a negative charge, and how the other atoms get together to form a compound in an element. Okay? There's more than one kind of bond, and you have many kind of bonds. You have covalent bonds, ionic bonding. You have all kind of bondings. So I explained that the bondings in different video. But so far, this is all I can do for you now. So let me see if I can take a picture of this. I'm not going to write this down in the description box because it's too long, and I'm running out of storage space. But here's one. See, R and R equals R plus R get together, and then from R, got the R and a small 2, which is the R molecule, is a pure molecule because each atom is pure. It's not a different atom; it's the same atom, same red. So you have red all together, so it's a pure red. So it's R2. R stands for red. Then you're going to take the H with a little black spot dot, which is the electron. They come together, 2 H's, hydrogen atoms, which are pure. Like the 2 R's are pure, the 2 H's pure atoms or elements. They come together. You see? See how they come together? And then here's how the electrons. They come together in a bond. And you have capital H and a small 2. You have a pure atom. You have 2 pure atoms coming together in a bonding to form a molecule, have hydrogen. Okay, and now you're going to get oxygen, which is a different atom, and put it together with H2, which are 2 pure atoms. The oxygen atom is also a pure atom, but it's not the same. It's not the same element as the hydrogen element. Or atoms. So you have a compound here. H2O is a compound. So that's what you get. So how do we do this? Well, this is another sketch right here. See? one electric electron, another electron, they come together and they fill the shell because the oxygen has to have 8 electrons all together. So this makes 2 more added to the oxygen, which is a compound, and which is not a pure molecule anymore. Compound because you have 2 different atoms, hydrogen and oxygen. So it's not a pure molecule like H2. Okay, here's another sketch: oxygen, oxygen, electron, electron, and you got the electrons here. Hydrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, and electrons. They come together. Okay, and then you get H2O. That's simple. You write down 2 H's, what you have, right? Here's the 2 red. One hydrogen is H2. Where I put it? Yeah, H2. Then you put the O for oxygen next to it, and that's how you write it. H2O for water. That's simple. You see what you see here, and you write it down. You write it down here as you see it. That's simple. It's not that difficult. Okay. All right. There's going to be a lot of bonding of different kinds going on in chemistry. So it's good to know how it works. All right? But get to learn your chemical symbols and atomic numbers. Okay? So go to my video on Wise Out 2 and learn how to read and study, especially if you're a beginner or you just want to study chemistry, how to find out about the chemical symbols and the atomic numbers, okay? All right, for now. If you're going to be a beginner and studying chemistry, that's the first thing you do. And then you want to study the atomic mass unit. All right? Okay, so just go to my Wise Out 2. You have all that there, okay? Well, have a good day. Bye-bye. Let me get the... You got that one and you got this one. Yeah, all right. Have a good day. Over and out.